On the Eurosport player, Nakam Sankam takes on Steve Maguire, former UK champion. But we're going to concentrate on defending champion Rocket Ronnie up against Luo Honghao. Let's hand over to our MC to get the players out, Phil Seymour.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome firstly to table number 2, a semi-finalist in this year's Welsh Open and World Open. He is Thailand's number 1, Noppon Sankam. And his opponent, a 5-time ranking event winner, the former UK champion, Stephen Maguire. And on table number 1, playing in his first ranking event quarter-final, he is the virtuoso Luo Honghao. And finally, he's the 5-time champion of the world, the reigning and defending English Open champion, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Here we go, the big one, defending champion, one of the game's greatest ever players, the maximum man, Rocket Ronnie, up against the 18-year-old Luo Honghao. Your boys in the box for this one are Dominic Dale and Dave Hendon.
First frame.
Luo Honghao came out to the great pretender. He'll be hoping to put Ronnie O'Sullivan under pressure this evening, but it's a big, big night for the teenager. First season as a professional, he's reached his first ever ranking event quarter-final, and he's up against his idol, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Luo Honghao to get us underway. Best of 9 to play Mark Davis in the semi-finals tomorrow. He said last night, I just want to pot a ball against him. Well, he's likely to do that, and then the only way is up from there. You never know, do you? O'Sullivan, you feel on a bit of a hiding to nothing. If he wins the match, people will say, well, he was expected to. If he loses, it's one of the biggest shocks in recent years.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how he performs here. Big television occasion here for Luo Honghao. The gloved Luo Honghao. Don't see many players playing over here, especially with the glove. You do see some of the British players playing in China. Because of the humidity, they decide to borrow or buy a glove to wear just for that event, but don't see it very often. The player plays all his matches with a glove. I think there's Ross Muir on the tour as well. He also wears a similar glove. And there it is. Nice looking silken number. But Luo Honghao is playing his idol here tonight, and it could just bring the best out of him. Who knows?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how early he settles on the biggest match of his life. They've never met before. O'Sullivan said he caught a bit of Luo Honghao's match last night with Neil Robertson and was impressed with what he briefly saw.
Switched off, please.
And straight away I can observe that most unusually these days he actually cues, the alignment of the cue is right between his two eyes. He's even sighted, Doesn't have a particular eye dominance like most players have. And a good straight cueist.
Luo Honghao began playing the piano at the age of 5 and achieved great distinction at it. Well, he was in hot water on day one, wasn't he, with his comments? Yeah, he was a very talented pianist, but snooker is his first love, it would seem. Yeah, it would look dead
Ronnie
straight, that.
4.
Well, it'll certainly give him confidence to know that he's played an absolutely dead straight pot and cued it to perfection, as you can see the cue ball following through in off. Just wondering though, Dave, you were telling me earlier he's virtuoso on the piano, so I wonder if he's sort of played in front of big audiences before on the piano, and if he has, that could stand him in good stead, really.
Yeah, it's a good point, I think. It's all about performance. The only difference is you're following the sheet music. In snooker, in a sport like this, anything can happen. You have to react and adapt.
Yes, he'll certainly have his work cut out tonight to stave off Ronnie O'Sullivan, but just wonder if this red's available into the bottom right corner here. It is. How confident does he feel about taking it on? It's risky.
One.
Well, perhaps you can see why Luo Honghao turned that pot down just a minute or two ago. It was fraught with dangers. Good pot from Ronnie, but as you can see, he's got no position on a colour. In fact, I don't even know if he'd be able to cue at the black to play any sort of decent shot with it. It's in a bit of a tough spot here, Ronnie.
Brown ball. Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Yes, Luo Honghao's first season he got on the tour. He won the World Amateur Championship organised by the new World Snooker Federation in Malta in March of this year. He had been runner-up in the IBSF World Amateur Under-21 Championship in 2017. But this is another level entirely from all of that. This is the big league against the biggest name in the sport.
Well, this is Ronnie's miss, and I do believe as a result of it, Luo Honghao has his first excellent opportunity of this match. Red to the right corner, and if he can just find a little gap between the reds for the cue ball, can play for either pink or blue. That's if the pink goes into this left-hand corner pocket. It's just having a look. It's tight, isn't it? I just wonder if he can nudge off the red above the one he's playing here and be on the black into the left corner, but he's not looking at that now.
1.
Too much backspin on the cue ball. Of course, the cue ball to cannon a second red on its path through to the pink, so it's either the long blue or a safety shot.
Well,
Luo Honghao,
couldn't restrain himself from taking it on, but he didn't pot it. So the question now is, how costly will it be?
One.
Sullivan, the defending champion, he's not really been pressed so far this year. He's only lost 3 frames in 4 matches. I think you'd have to say the draw has opened up for him as well. He's only played 1 player in the top 50. That was the world number 50, Kurt Mafflin.
8. Nine.
Of course, this is the half where Trump, Robertson and Higgins all lost last night. But that's not his problem.
$16. 17.
And I don't expect to see Ronnie O'Sullivan by any means take his young opponent for granted tonight. He'll be aware that he's got all the experience advantages over his opponent, who may be a little bit overawed by the occasion. But Ronnie won't know that until he sees a few more shots from Luo Honghao, just assesses how he's
24.
feeling. The long blue that he missed, he played with a lot of pace. There's a bit of movement on his bridge hand, all signs of tension. But I think Ronnie's just too
25.
experienced to allow playing lower ranked players anyway affect his concentration and focus, even if he feels he might get 10 chances a frame. He'll still be focused as though he's playing fellow top 16 professionals.
32. 33.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Luo Honghao at 18. Ronnie O'Sullivan won the UK Championship at the age of 17.
40.
Second biggest ranking tournament in the sport. So he really was a prodigy.
$47. 48.
Yeah, what a difference we've seen in Ronnie O'Sullivan in the decades since winning that UK Championships at the age of 17. He used to see the first shot and play it immediately. He was such a fast player. A bit more circumspect these days, but still the greatest
55.
player in the game, in my opinion.
So Luo Honghao
56.
took on that blue, and he's been punished for the miss. He took a long time queuing up to it, didn't want to turn it down. This was it. It had to go in, really.
63.
And it didn't, and it left O'Sullivan an opening from which he's won the frame.
64.
We've heard how much Luo Honghao admires Ronnie O'Sullivan. And the danger tonight is he might have quite a lot of time in his chair admiring him if he starts handing him chances.
Well, if it does go all wrong for Luo Honghao, it certainly will be an experience he'll never forget, and he'll learn from it, that's
70.
for sure.
$78.
So another example of Ronnie's
85.
incredible ambidexterity there. Just times a ball, even left-handedly, so well.
86.
What a talent this man is.
Yeah, we're coming up to the 25th anniversary of that UK Championship victory.
91. 93. 96.
So it's going to be career century number 957.
100.
Luo Honghao said all he wanted to do tonight was pot a ball. Well, he did, but he missed the next one.
105.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan has made a glorious century off the back of it.
111. 118.
Well, what a great start from Ronnie O'Sullivan. 118, punishing the miss blue from Luo Honghao. The Rocket off and running in Crawley tonight, leading this quarter-final by 1 frame to 0. In the opening frame, lovely clearance it was as well to lead Luo Honghao 1-0. It's first to 5. Mark Davis is waiting in the semi-finals. He beat Ryan Day 5-1 earlier on. Stuart Bingham beat Ali Carter 5-2. So he plays either Stephen Maguire or Noppen Senkam. They're still in their first frame. That's live on the Eurosport Player this evening. You can see there on the left-hand side, that's table 2. It's worth remembering Luo Honghao was 3-0 down in the first round to Adam Duffy. Beat him 4-3, beat Stuart Carrington 4-1, Anthony McGill 4-2, and then the big win really was last night, Neil Robertson 4-2 as well.
That was a good safety from Luo Honghao. Just about managed to cover the left-hand half of the table by the brown. But there is a straightish red to the right corner here for Ronnie, should he feel he has to take it on. Can't see an obvious path back to bulk here. Now then, Luo, what a chance you've got here. And these are the chances you must take against somebody like an O'Sullivan. You've got to put top players under pressure to make them miss. Because if you don't, they're just going to treat it like a practice session and just run away with things.
1.
The other thing, of course, it's not just playing O'Sullivan, it's playing on the TV table, which he's not done all week. With the cameras and certainly the big crowd as well around the table. Well, he played on the blue, but he's taken the pink. Just needs a bit of table time, doesn't he? Just make a nice break here. Just get used to these conditions. Tatiana Wollaston is the referee.
7.
She's lasted a little longer in the tournament than her husband Ben, who lost to Ricky Walden yesterday. Of course, beaten Mark Selby in that brilliant clearance he made in the decider.
Yes, as you mentioned, Dave, Liu did indeed try and stun up for the blue, but got hold of the cue ball too much. Had to play the pink there instead, and you can see it's just tied things up a little bit at the black spot end now. Doesn't appear that he's on either red to the left centre pocket, which is going to make things even more awkward for him. You can see he doesn't really have a favourable angle on this red. Yeah, couldn't avoid cannoning the pack there, and unfortunately pink and black don't pot to the right corner, so again it's a long difficult blue or it's end of break. This time turns a long blue down in favour of the safety shot.
Luo Honghao 8.
Needs to score more than 8 from these opportunities though, Dave.
Yeah, as I say, he was looking to get some table time, just get used to conditions, make a nice solid break there, but well, look, it's a massive evening for him. He's not quite settled yet. I remember Ken Doherty told me the first time he played at the Crucible, he played Steve Davis, who of course he massively respected, and he said I was 4-0 down before I knew where I was. He said I spent all my time looking at Steve and the fact that I was playing him, and there I was with him, but eventually, of course, he had to focus on the table because that's where it all happens. That's easy to say, maybe not so easy to do when it's all new to you.
Yes, a good point you make. It's so enamouring to be playing one of your heroes of the sport out there on the big stage, something you may not have ever thought you'd achieve. And sometimes you enjoy the experience so much you forget to try to win sometimes. Well, I do believe that was an attempted safety shot, but played it with a rather flat, dead cue ball. Wasn't any side spin or anything that killed the pace of the cue ball or altered the angle so it would stay within the bulk area. Has he done any damage? Are all these reds covering one another into this bottom right hand corner? Be very fortunate if that's the case.
Well, he slightly mishit that, but there's no real damage done, it would seem. I guess he doesn't want to hand his opponent easy chances. He knows that it's a big night for him and wants to keep pressure on him.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Well, probably better in off than catching the bump of the middle pocket there, which may have allowed Ronnie a much easier red than he's got now. But there is a red on into this bottom right corner, which Ronnie will take on, I'm sure. Just depends which colour he decides to play on here. Probably stun round the angles for the blue.
One.
Struck this one beautifully, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's had rather a favourable cannon, I have to say, to leave himself nice on the blue.
Six. Seven. 12. Thirteen. Nineteen. 20.
It's right what you said earlier. He's still quick, of course he is, but you can see that just slight consideration compared to, you know, when he made that maximum famously against Mick Price at the Crucible, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. It was just all instinct.
27. 28.
'Yeah, he's always walking around the table these days, Ronnie. He likes to know the lay of the land. He likes to know what goes where, what colours are available. If any of those 4 reds below the pink pot anyway, he likes to know all these things. Whereas before, he'd play a shot. Years ago this is, he'd play a shot. If he's on the next red, he'd just play it straight away for his next colour. Wouldn't think about anything else.
$34. 39. 40. 47.
I think the red at the bottom of that little group of reds below the pink pots into the left-hand corner pocket.
48.
Yes, you can see in that picture there it clearly goes. And another opportunity for Ronnie here to rack up his second century of the evening.
55.
Needs a couple more reds to secure the frame.
56.
Just a final check of the scoreboard tells him this is frame ball.
63.
Luo Honghao went in off the middle. O'Sullivan knocked in a long red. And O'Sullivan once again has done the rest. Yeah, this is how
71.
he got in. Luo Honghao finding the middle pocket with the cue ball.
72.
Well, it looks like, as Dom says, it's going to be another century.
$78. $79.
Well, it's like a free lesson in how to play big match snooker for Luo Honghao. The only problem is he's the opponent in the match.
$82.
Yes, but no matter what happens here in this match, he's acquitted himself extremely well in this event. Quarter-finalist at the age of 18 is no mean feat. Beating some very good players to get to this stage of the event. But maybe, just maybe, Ronnie O'Sullivan could be a step too far.
$90.
Yeah, he was at
Ronnie
full
O'Sullivan,
stretch on the
90,
yellow, so
and
it's
the
not
frame.
another century. Nevertheless, against the virtuoso Luo Honghao, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who's calling the tune. Breaks of 118 and 90. He's in control, leading by 2 frames to 0.
Thank you. Frame 3. Luo Honghao to break.
Well, so far it's going to the form book. Ronnie O'Sullivan, the multi-champion, leading Luo Honghao, the rookie, 2-0. With 2 big breaks, 118 and 90. Missed the yellow there at full stretch in the second frame, so no second century. But he's produced the sort of snooker already that has inspired Luo Honghao to pursue his dream of becoming a snooker professional. Problem for him, though, is doing it against him.
Just overcut that one, Ronnie, but the cannon on the brown with the cue ball has given Luo Honghao a half chance here to red into the bottom right-hand corner pocket. He's had a couple of really good opportunities early on in this match, Liu, but hasn't capitalised from them as yet. Can he do so here? Yeah, it's tough out there, isn't it? Never really played a match of this importance before. But as I said earlier, he'll certainly learn from this. Just shows how difficult it is to be composed out there on the big match occasion. But when your opponent gives you a little bit of help along the way, things can happen.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw this coming. Question is, can Luo Honghao take advantage of the opening, the unexpected miss?
1.
Well, the cue ball just kept on running.
Yes, he did well there to widen the angle with the cue ball. Played for the pink into the right centre, and as you say, Dave, just ran on and on, didn't it?
Well, he's lining up for this blue. Yeah, we've been here. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, I'll tell you what, it was
Luo
close the second
Honghao,
time
1.
around. But, of course, he took one on in the first frame, and O'Sullivan made a century off it.
It was a good pot from Ronnie, because you have to endure this sort of fragmented snooker where you're sort of missing a few and making the odd mistake. You've lost your rhythm, lost your flow. It's difficult to pot those difficult opening reds like that.
Seven. Eight. Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 8, Luo Honghao 6.
Well, Ronnie must have been almost dead straight on this pink. Tried to pot the pink probably into the top jaw of the pocket and pinch the pocket a little bit to create an angle. Unfortunately, it didn't do so. Hence a follow through and off. Now this looks better from Luo Honghao. If this cue ball keeps running, it could be a very effective safety, and it certainly is. Well played.
Yeah, and he's getting good support here tonight from this audience. Obviously, many of them, probably most of them, are Ronnie O'Sullivan supporters, but they want to see a good match and they want to see a young lad doing well. So he's caught them a little thick, just looking to glance off them. Could have left something easier though, couldn't he?
Yes, he could. The red he'd like to play into this bottom right corner with the rest. Oh, he's actually, because he's left-handed, he can reach it, but the black's not available anywhere and he's running into other balls, so how does he get the cue ball back up the table for one of the other colours? The red that's next to the pink will only cut into the green pocket, which is very difficult. He's playing the right shot here, he's just got to hope that something happens, but he must pot this red.
One.
There you go, you see, if you play that type of shot, something can always happen. He had to pot the red, as you can see. It was very risky. Had he missed that red, anything could have happened. He could have left Ronnie a frame-winning opportunity. As it happens, he's got that frame-winning opportunity now.
Eight. Nine.
Well, he's had a couple of chances already to get going. This is another one. And he earned the chance. He laid the snooker behind the brown. O'Sullivan left a red. problem is, though, it's a learning experience, and it might take all night until he's actually got used to these conditions and being out there on the main table.
15.
By which time it might be too late. But this is a definite chance. And if he can make a nice break here, it might just settle him.
16.
Yeah, now he's 2-0 behind. He might have lost all thoughts of contending in this match at the moment, at least. He may have just relaxed a little bit. I actually fancy him to make a few here. Maybe not win the frame at this visit, but certainly double his advantage that he has at the minute. Be handy if he can get that black spot in the open. The black probably does pot in the left corner, which is very useful to Liu. And if he can leave himself about 3/4 ball on the low side, in fact, just stun this red in, basically.
22.
He should be able to just nudge the other red that's next to the black out the way.
$23.
Yeah, he's just a touch low on this black. Wanted to be sort of 3/4 ball on it. He could have potted the black, run through, cannon the other red out the way, and left himself on the other red into the left corner. But I think he feels he might just flick off this red now rather than cannon it sort of full ball. Yeah, that's a bad angle, really. Well played. Saw the alternative shot. Just cannon those two reds. To use them basically as a stopper for the cue ball. He'd have been on a red to the left corner, as it is.
30.
He's actually got a choice of 3 reds here.
$31.
Well, as you can see, he's snookered himself on his intended pink to the left corner. So he's faced with a very thin black now.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you want when you've already missed a few. Well done.
$38. $39.
Well, the easiest red to play for here is the one just to the right of the pink, but you've just got to try and avoid the cannon on the blue here with the cue ball. That won't be easy.
$41.
exactly what Neil Foles was saying earlier. So now using his right hand for the cue when he's using the rest. The one with the glove. Well, he's getting there in this frame. Slowly but surely. He's 41 in front. That red only just dropped, but it dropped. Just needs to hold himself steady for a few more shots here. There's a real unknown quantity about him, and that makes him exciting. Not really seen much of him before at all, but we know that he's beaten Neil Robertson. He's beaten a couple of other really good players as well. Anthony McGill, one of them.
.49.
Well, it's been full of variety this break. Cue ball's been all over the place, but somehow he's kept this break going. He's looking very good now. Just a couple more balls required to secure his first frame against his idol, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, this red will make him feel a lot better.
.57. .64.
And if he could win the next as well, then 2-2 at the interval would be a massive result for him, considering the way he started, the way O'Sullivan started, with 2 big breaks.
.72. .73.
It has to be said, the distance by which he missed the blue in this frame that he took on that long blue, you didn't think he'd end up making a century in it, but that now a distinct possibility.
80. .81.
He strikes the ball, reminds me a little bit of Liang Wenbo. As
88.
he begins the final thrust through to the cue ball, he has that sort of secondary pause before the actual strike. Oh, I just tried to develop the blue there,
90.
but failed. But he's still in decent position on the green. We'll need that blue to make his century break.
Well, it's not a century, but we saw there just how good he actually is. In the end, it was a nice break of 90. The virtuoso starting to hit the right notes this evening. He's on the scoreboard, so Ronnie O'Sullivan leads here in Crawley by 2 frames to 1.
Frame 4. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So this is the last frame before the mid-session interval of this quarter-final at the English Open. Ronnie O'Sullivan, the defending champion, leads Luo Honghao 2-1. It was 2-0. The 18-year-old from China has made a 90 break in the third frame, by far his highest of the night. And as I say, if he could make it 2-2, then that's a big result, considering how he started. The danger at 2-0, the way it went 2-0, was that he was just going to be blown away this evening.
Choice of reds here for Ronnie into either of these top corner pockets. He's playing the thin cut instead because He knows he can get the cue ball out for one of the colours, whereas the other red into the other corner, it's fraught with danger really.
1.
He just potted that red slightly too thickly, which is why the cue ball remained in bulk, but well, he's got some sort of an angle on the green to advance the cue ball back down this end of the table amongst the reds.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Well, it's one of those where he had to pot it because he's always going to be playing down for reds. Wasn't the case with the initial red, of course, because there was safety in mind on that shot. Well, he definitely seems to have settled now. He struck this with great assurance, actually.
He'd love to get that green back on its spot. Players hate it when the bulk colours are down this black spot end of the table. So it wouldn't be at all surprised if he plays for the green next.
8. 9.
Well, Dominic, you're the fashion expert. What do you make of those?
Yeah, that could do some damage. Can you imagine if he was in a sort of five-a-side football match? You kick the ball with those, it'd be just be impaled to your shoe, wouldn't it? Deflate in about 2 seconds.
12.
Well, they're certainly distinctive. Of course, this time last year, Ronnie O'Sullivan was wearing sort of trainers, really, because he'd had some injury when he'd been running. Mr. Green here to let Luo Honghao in.
20.
First couple of frames, it might not have mattered, but now that he's had that nice 90, he's starting to grow in confidence here. Cue him with more assurance now.
21.
We can show you how he got in. This green to the middle, stayed out.
He's technically very good, Luo Honghao. I'm very impressed with him.
26.
He's got a good cue action. Cue's right in the middle of his chin there, right between his eyes. That's quite unusual these days. And as long as he stays
27.
rock steady on the shot and there's no body movement, rest assured he's got one of the better techniques that you see in this sport. And that could really stand him in good stead when the pressure's on.
Please don't shout out.
Well, this was unlucky.
34.
screwed off the bottom red of the pack, off the side cushion. Unfortunately, cue ball went back into that little group of balls. So that's end of break, but he's looking very good, isn't he, Dave, at the moment?
Yeah, as you say, a bit unlucky, but he's definitely got himself together and sort of knows where he is now. First couple of frames, I don't think he did.
Luo Honghao, 34.
Just to say that Stephen Maguire is 2-1 up in the other match against Noppen Senkam. There you can see them on the right, on the left-hand side. That's live on the Eurosport player. Winner of that one plays Stuart Bingham in the semis.
Referee Tatiana Wollaston was allowed by Ronnie there just to survey that situation. Very tight as to whether Ronnie can get that cue ball past the green to just clip off one of the reds next to the pink. Yes, he can.
$21. 22.
Not sure if the red that's the top one of the two next to the black will pot into this right-hand corner pocket. If it does, he's got a simple positional shot to play. Dave, this red is frame ball again, isn't it?
Yeah, and, well, what an impressive red to get in with, first and foremost. Just needs to make sure of this one. In it goes. Well,
29.
Talk about a game of two halves within the mini session. He was all over the place in the first two, and he was being punished. But he made that nice 90 in the last frame. That was an adventurous break, but he made the break. And then here in this frame, look at how he got in.
35.
Bang. And it's going to be 2-2, and I tell you what, it sets up a fascinating final
36.
half. He looks seriously confident. O'Sullivan has made the odd error. The green that he missed in this frame was certainly a mistake. Because he started so well, O'Sullivan, but he's been pegged back.
Yeah, and I didn't think I'd be saying this, but
43.
I humbly suggest that the interval has come at a good time for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
44.
The other thing is, you can just see he's loving it, isn't he? He's loving being out there now.
51.
He's bit like a rabbit in the headlights at the start, but not now.
52.
It looks like he's managed to shut out the occasion
59.
and just play the snooker that he knows he can.
60.
I guess the question for later is if he does get a chance to win the match, how will he feel then? But for now, the most important thing is that he's levelled up and not been blown away, as looked likely at 2-0.
67. Foul.
Not at that pace.
Luo Honghao, 67,
But a great
and
break
frame.
of 67 nonetheless. I think even Ronnie O'Sullivan was impressed there, certainly with the first red that he knocked in. Luo Honghao's confidence grew and grew as that mini session went on. He was in big trouble trailing 2-0, but at the interval, it's all square, 2 frames apiece.
Yeah, you just wonder if that interval has come at the wrong time for Luo Honghao. He lost the first 2, he was frightened on the table, and he came back with 2 wonderful frames of snooker. We're going to have a quick break analysis from Neil and Jimmy, a bit of fun on the practice table, and then, of course, this quarter-final to a finale. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. They've got one more before they break for a mid-session interval. I can tell you just quickly, Superbikes, there's lots of it, of course, as always on Eurosport's, the FIM World Superbikes. Next Friday, make a date in your calendar, 2 p.m, and then Saturday at 3 p.m, all live on Eurosport 2. Yeah, it's beautifully poised at the halfway stage. Jimmy and Neil, of course, alongside. Jimmy, we're going to look back at the first 4 frames. We were talking about how nervous a young player can be, and we saw it so early on in the first frame, taking on balls that are difficult at the best of times, but when it's your first appearance on the big stage.
Yeah, you know, all he's got to do there is touch the brown there, and he puts Ronnie O'Sullivan in banging trouble. Bit of inexperience there, a bit of a rush of blood, I think. And then you got, sorry Neil, you got O'Sullivan plays a fantastic cannon there. He's already won the frame, but just showing his skills, break
and he made a century, didn't he? I mean, that's a good way to start against a youngster, you know, to make him in awe. And so many matches O'Sullivan starts off like this, you know, he made this wonderful break. And it's a great start to the match, you know, just to show who is the boss, or that's the idea of it.
Yeah, anyway. Much the same on frame 2. Lou went in off. But you could argue, Neil, that the white shouldn't have been going anywhere near that middle pocket.
It's a fairly acute angle. He's very close to getting it back, but you're right. You know, it's not as unlucky as it seems. Although I'm a bit surprised the keeper went in at that sort of narrow angle.
And then Ronnie gets down here after that marvellous 118 break. He's cueing fantastic. It hits that red straight in the heart of the pocket, and you feel with the way the reds are and the way Ronnie's playing, he's going to win the frame.
2-0 down, and a player that's never played on the big stage, he's only 18. He would have been forgiven to just completely and utterly disintegrate in front of our eyes, but that wasn't the case. Came back with wonderful touch, wonderful play, and a great snooker as well, Neil.
He's a good player. He's got a lot of good things about him, and not only do we know that he's got grit and determination, as he proves later, but this is a good start. And you know, I reckon safety is not as attacking as Potting, but it was an aggressive safety shot. This was a bit lucky, Jim.
Yeah, he's finished on the red. We can only hit it and hope that he gets position, and he got a nice touch there. I think he deserved that, but he went on to take these really well. You know, he's got Ronnie O'Sullivan waiting to play a shot. This black he's forced into. He lost position, but for me, he done really well there.
Yeah, and considering how bad a start he got off to, he lost the first 2 frames in quick time as well. Just pulls one back, so it's 2-1, and then what a way to open the 4th frame up.
Well, you see, Ronnie has got him going, if you like, a little bit in frame 3, and this is just a real. This is worry Ronnie to see this, because that is wonderful cueing.
That was just magical. He had a very easy safety shot. You can see left of the black there, he can hit 1 or 2 reds. You know, that's just, he got so much confidence in his cue action. You know, what a poke that was. Yeah,
it's just over 30 seconds average time per shot, but he looks so comfortable, doesn't he, now? I mean, compared to the first 2 frames, the last 2 he played, he looked like he's been out there all his life.
Yeah, trying to take Ronnie out with the yellow off the table there in that frame. I tell you what, I'm trying to work out who he reminded me of, and you haven't got to go back that far. There's a bit of Lian Wenbo in there, you know, he's good.
Yeah.
He's really impressive so far.
Yeah, cue action very similar as well. Yeah,
very good.
Now, we always have a bit of fun, of course, on the practice table, and so far this week we've done Jimmy showing how you go around the black spot. We've done a few different things with
Blue
wrong
in
side
and
and
out
right
bolt.
side of the blue. Today we're going to talk about the break-off. Okay, Jimmy, so if you want to step up. Now, when I was talking to you before about the break-off, I was saying, like, what we're going to do, there's, you know, one or two ways that you can do this. And then, of course, it came to our attention that this week Ronnie's been breaking for the first time with right-handed. Usually, even though he's a right-hander, he's been breaking left-handed, but now it's gone back to right. And it's all to do with the way he's coming across the white ball zone. So just talk us through, Jimmy, the different ways you can break off.
The average break is like a ball and a half to the brown. You hit you swerve into the last thread with a bit of right-hand side, so you can square the cue ball round. Hopefully, get behind the green. Okay.
So where are you striking the cue ball, about 5 o'clock?
No, right-hand side.
Yeah, that was 5 o'clock. Right, so, okay, that's awful, Jim.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Right.
Why would you? Do you have to
Look
put
at the job I've got
cue
to do,
ball
look.
close to the brown, or could you have it near the yellow?
Set them up quick.
Well, if you put it nearer to the
This is
yellow,
years of being in Gatshill snooker
you
club.
don't get the sort of figure eight round to the
No,
red.
and also maybe that bottom red, you could hit it too thick and it could come up the table maybe.
Yeah, correct. You can
That's-
bounce up that one.
So you put it there. Yeah.
This is the same break you're doing?
Same break.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you just miss the blue, it usually shapes up nicely behind the green like that.
Can I just ask, on the break that you're doing,
Let the shot develop.
is that a bad shot? Is that a bad shot? Because I'm asking this question, are you meant to be there, or is that a good shot because it's there?
You want to be in this area on the cushion. But this are they touching, Andy?
Yes, they are touching, Jimmy.
Thank you, Andy.
So is that the only break you'd try? That is the only break you've
Well,
got.
I'll show you another break. If you're like 7-0 up and someone's struggling,
What, the red by the pink, the first one
you
you can
go
hit?
third red.
Yeah. This is a more
This is a
attacking
different break, Jimmy? What are you doing? Tell us what you're doing.
I'm hitting the third red, trying to open all the balls up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That looks good.
You know, you've got to be well in front.
I
for that.
can tell you a player that used to break like that, Tony Knowles. Don't you remember his?
Do you
He
want
used to
one
get you in a lot of trouble, actually.
Yeah, because there are lots of reds open.
Here we've got time for one more, Jimmy.
But that's right.
But
I mean, it isn't the only break. That looks good when it works, like he did there.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work, you can do the gaming.
Someone about 130 off it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So you're back to the bottom red.
Go on, last one.
I'm
We've
trying
got
to
to go for
play
break, Jim.
Ronnie
Quick.
O'Sullivan's back. I'm not putting enough
on, Jim.
on the cue ball, so I'm going to go a bit more screw. No, I'm not getting it on really.
Yeah, but this is beyond
This
the
is
green.
no
There you go.
good though.
Perfect. That's perfect. Look at that.
It's
Look at
no
that.
good.
Look at that.
Look, you've done the gaming.
You have done the game.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
the problem.
Good break. Talk to breaks. We're going to have one now. When we come back, we'll be playing this quarter-final to a finish. It's very intriguing. 2-2 at the moment. First to 5 for a place in the last 4. Do you think that Lou's got a hang on him?
I don't know. All I know is that he surprised everyone, and maybe we're going to be surprised again. It's going to be fascinating to see how Ronnie copes with him. Never mind how he copes with Ronnie.
Okay, boys. For the time being, thanks as always. Let's hand over to our commentary team. It's Joe Johnson and Dave Hendon.
Well, I certainly think it's refreshing to see someone take the game to Ronnie O'Sullivan in the way Luo
Take your
Honghao
seats
has
now,
done.
please. Thank you. Frame 5. Luo Honghao to break.
I'm sure Luo Honghao didn't want an interval the way he was playing in frames 3 and 4, but as they resume, it's 2 each. It's effectively a best of 5.
Well, maybe the interval did come at a good time for O'Sullivan and a bad time for Lou. We'll soon find out. He was striking the ball really nicely.
Yeah, and he was clearly loving it as well. You could just see it in him. Every ball he potted.
Couldn't have got any closer. And on this occasion, the kiss on the black saved him. He would have almost certainly left that red over the right corner. Maybe the one up by the blue. Well, that's a great shot. Without a doubt, a great shot. I'm not sure if it's the right shot. If it's the right shot, it's gone in. But he was leaving reds on, so he was betting himself that he was going to get that.
Yeah, he was taking those sort of shots on early on in the match. The difference then was he wasn't getting them. He is now.
Well, that was really a super shot. Very confident shot.
6.
Black is available to the left corner.
We saw Luo Honghao on that break of 67, blasted the yellow off the table. Nearly went into Ronnie O'Sullivan, who picked it up, gave it to the referee, a little tap on the arm there. Nice way to end the mini session.
What a great sportsman. Just giving Lou a little tap on the shoulder. Just helping to relax him as well. His hero. Well, I think he wanted a little bit of an angle on the black to open the reds up, but this is a little bit too much. I'm sure he'll go for it. Very attacking player, but 2 or 3 inches harder would have been better. Having a look at the potting angle. Good shot. And deserved better, really. He's on a red to the right corner, but he's badly hampered by the pink.
14.
Quite a big tip that, isn't it? Looks fairly new. Wasn't sure, but it just managed to drop in. And this is turning into a good chance. He's certainly taking the game to O'Sullivan, taking that long red on as he did.
Yeah, it's like the interval never came, isn't it? This is how he's playing in frames 3 and 4.
22. $23.
Well, will he go into the reds and try and win the frame at this visit? He's got some insurance. Doesn't need to hit them hard. Yeah, that's nicely done. He's on this red to the left corner, and the reds are nicely open now.
30.
Very confident shot, very attacking shot. May have to go up for the blue here, but the reds are nicely open, so he's earned himself this chance.
$31.
Yeah, and one thing about the young Chinese contingent, they practice, practice, practice. Yan Bingtao last year, the day after he lost in the Northern Ireland Open final to Mark Williams, 9-8, flew back to the UK, was back in the club, the academy in the afternoon. Luo Honghao here plays at the other academy in Sheffield, the Star Snooker Academy, run by Keith Warren and Gary Baldry. All the work he's put in for nights like this.
$36.
Well, he's ranked number 105 in the world, and that's going to change considerably.
$37.
He needed a bit of luck there. He finished nearly straight on the black. He couldn't pull the cue ball back. It was going into that red on the cushion. So I had to play it with a little stun run through with side. And he deserved better because that was a good shot he played. But needed a kind of kiss. Having a little bit of a nod to himself. But the game not safe yet. Could so easily have won the frame at that visit. I don't think he can pot a red here. But he's looking at this really thin cut or red to the middle. He's got it. He's got it. Not ideal on the black, but he's still got a chance at it. It's just a little awkward. He could just drop it in, bounce off the cushion, but he's playing it with stun. Another good shot, played for the red into the right centre. Another confident shot.
52.
I was expecting him just to drop it in and play for the red by the pink into the left middle. Well, it's sticky out there, and it's going to get stickier.
Well, look at that. His pot success. After 2 frames, I can tell you it was 50%. He's gone up to 91. He's up by 4% on O'Sullivan. 52-0. Looking to close out the frame and lead for the first time.
$53.
And the thing is, he doesn't look like missing. I'm expecting him to miss the odd one and allow O'Sullivan back to the table. Nice easy table to go at, but he's not missing.
Yes, I mean, the first red he knocked in was a great ball, and as you said at the time, you know, he was leaving reds on, potentially if he missed it. Doesn't feel like missing, obviously.
Well, that's how Henry used to play the game. He didn't mind leaving reds on. He kind of said, I don't mind leaving reds on, you've got to get them all. Otherwise I will.
61.
Well, we can show you again how the break began with this terrific pot. He needs another red after the black to lead for the first time at 3-2. And the thing is, he's doing it with breaks.
Well, one visit snooker, David. You can't get any better than that. But the way he got into this game, knocking that long red in as he did, very, very confident. And worrying, I would say, for O'Sullivan. This is what he normally does.
69.
Yeah, O'Sullivan may have wished that Luo Honghao had stuck to the piano. He made the choice, didn't he, to pursue snooker instead. We've been waiting for someone to step up. Frankly, a top player to step
76.
up and take on Ronnie O'Sullivan, but Luo Honghao, in his first season on the tour, is the man doing it now.
77.
Well, the only thing he hasn't done so far is a century break, and that looks like it could happen here.
83.
He's just enjoying himself out there.
Yeah, as I said to Dominic before the interval, I think now the interesting question, for me anyway, is if he, say, gets to 4-2, he gets a chance to win, how does he feel then? Does he keep feeling this positive and confident? Or with the winning line approaching, how does that change things? We may find out in the next half hour or so. As for now, 92. He's loving every minute of it.
And to be honest, so are we.
$97.
Little switch to right-handed. Like this.
$98.
So, black for a century. He deserves one the way he's played in the last 3 frames. He is playing superb snooker, he really is. A new face to pretty much everybody.
105.
He's making the most of his chance tonight.
And another super
106.
shot. Great shot from Lou.
$109.
Well, O'Sullivan's just had 1 shot in this match. In this game, should I say.
111.
Went for a long red, and I thought he'd got safe. He had different ideas.
114.
Was no doubt he was all at sea first 2 frames in awe of his great hero, but he's put reputations to one side and just focused on his own game. And boy, his own game is working well now. And Ronnie O'Sullivan, who at 2-0, the way it had gone, looked a big certainty tonight. He's now in trouble.
123.
Because this young man is a handful.
129.
And he's going to beat his highest break. Well played.
Well, that was just sensational. Thoroughly deserving this warm round of applause. What about that? A 136, his highest ever break. He leads Ronnie O'Sullivan 3-2.
Frame 6. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan to break in frame 6, trailing 3-2. And Luo Honghao has played just brilliant snooker to win those 3 frames, particularly that last one, a 136. It's his highest break of his very young career so far. That was the last black going in. Yeah, and Ronnie O'Sullivan applauding. I mean, that tells you how good it was. You know, if he's showing his appreciation, it was good. It's the sort of thing he's done to so many players down the years.
Yes, and he's ahead on the safety success as well. Another good safety. Centre red towards the pocket. Kiss on the blue. And the pink is available to the right middle. Black's tied up, I think. Into the right corner anyway. No, I didn't catch it full enough. He'll be disappointed with that. Wanted to bring the cue ball back in a straight line towards the pink, but just potted it in the wrong part of the pocket. So I'm going to say it, just a safety. He's got other ideas though, and that's why I said I'm going to say
Luo
it.
Honghao 1.
Now, what's the kiss like? He's got away with it.
Well, look at that. 31 minutes since O'Sullivan has potted a ball. Could have been on a red nicely here, but Luo Honghao had a bit of luck. But it must be unnerving just to see him going for so many, because he's getting most of them. Decided to take this pink on.
What an ambitious shot. And more times than not, when you miss it, you leave something.
Thing is, though, he's setting a tone, isn't he? The fact that Ronnie O'Sullivan knows that sort of normal rules are not applying. He's not playing a percentage game at all. He's just going for everything.
Caught it too thin. Any damage? I don't think so. Another raise of the hand. Doesn't want to leave him anything to go at. And maybe taking this one on. No, just a safety. Pushed the red towards that corner, and that's what he was afraid of. It's a thin cut. If he catches it just a little thick, the cue ball goes into the reds. Yeah, it was too tough and too risky, and had another little bit of luck. Now it's again backwards. I've got a feeling he'll be going for this red. If it goes. Or maybe it doesn't go to this right corner. Nope. They haven't played many safety shots between them. O'Sullivan's had 14 safety shots. Sorry, 19. And his opponent 20. Not a lot when you think about it. You get that in one frame sometimes. Doesn't want the full ball kiss. Now, can he see this red? And if he can, has he got any kind of an angle on it? Can't see it. So again, a touch of luck there. Well, it was a good attempt, but he's left a chance at this red, I think. Let's have a look. Can he hit it? Can he see it? He can. Fractions. Yeah, good pot. A little far for the pink to the middle. He's got it to the corner, but it's a tough shot. Maybe able to see the yellow. I'll just overrun a little bit with his position there, and that's because the yellow didn't go in cleanly. Could have done with the cue ball coming down the table a bit further. He played for the two reds just below the pink, but it's come far enough to take this red on next to the black. Well, I think he's right in taking this shot, because if he can hit the black quarter ball, the cue ball would come round the table for the pink. Just put everything into the pot. If he'd have played it slower. But he's got away with it again, and certainly getting the run at the moment.
But he's not been beaten since the World Championship because he's only played in one tournament prior to this, but it's a tournament he won, Shanghai Masters. Beat 4 top players to win it. Has breezed through to this round. He's only lost 3 frames in 4 rounds.
One.
Well, just not quite come far enough. He's okay, he can still pot it, but he wanted to be straight on this red. Would have made things simple.
Eight.
There was a loud noise there just as on his backswing, but it didn't make any difference.
Twelve.
Well, if he can finish straight on that red above the pink, that would lead him to the pink, because at the moment it's very difficult to get onto the pink. The black, very difficult to get onto. Oh, he's missed it, but look where the cue ball is.
13.
Look where the cue ball is. Nothing there for O'Sullivan. I think that was just a little bit of pressure.
Well, that's the danger, isn't it? The excitement gets almost too much.
Big decision this. Does he take that long red on or leave it for O'Sullivan? He's got a good safety. Tap on the table from O'Sullivan. Says he can't see enough of this red to pot it. Can you see enough of it? No.
Foul. Luo Honghao 4.
Well, caught it much too thick. He was just trying to catch the paint there. Didn't play the in off because he was always leaving this long red on. Another big shot if he decides to take it on, though. And this time he does leave a red, but you don't want these after you haven't potted a ball for over a half an hour.
Yeah, as we see the replay, coming up to 43 minutes since O'Sullivan's last pot. Is that clock going to stop finally with this shot? Oh, only just. It just crept in off the jaw.
And that's why he's hampered over the red for the pink. I thought he'd missed that for a second. And this isn't a gimme. Another good shot. Well, they were two really good shots for O'Sullivan. Asks questions of himself there.
Well, this is still a test for O'Sullivan despite all his experience, because he's had everything thrown at him tonight, and it's worked for Luo Honghao. He's got himself in front, but it's O'Sullivan in frame 6.
8.
I'll just come a little too far. The red just above the black available. Trying to come down for that red by the black spot and hasn't quite come far enough, so
13.
looks like just a safety. Well, he was going to play the plant, but that's so dangerous. That would have been just frustration. Great recovery. Great recovery.
14.
And if he decides to take the brown on, it's a real thin shot, but no thinner than that.
Well, he's fouled there. He's caught the red with cue.
Never saw it.
I'd like to see that again. I'm sure he caught the red with his cue. Let's see this again. Just watch
18.
the cue here. But it wasn't spotted.
No doubt
19.
about it.
$26.
Well, what a difference that could make.
27.
Little cannon to the red directly above the black. Leaves him on this red to the right corner.
34. 35.
May play another cannon here. Doesn't need to. Well, that could be a match changer, that foul.
$43.
And this time he does play the cannon because he needed to develop those two reds.
50.
And he has done. Little switch to left-handed.
51. $58. 59.
Well, this pink is to make absolutely sure is already one snooker needed. I get the feeling we may be talking about this frame long after this match has been played, because there was a foul at the start of the break or near the start,
65.
which wasn't spotted by anybody.
Well, you've certainly spotted
66.
it. I didn't see it until the replay.
Well, this is the shot again. Just watch the cue. Just catches a red.
73.
It's made a massive difference, self-evidently, because he's made a 73 break and he's levelled up at 3-all. So this match now effectively is a best of 3. All square here, 3 frames apiece.
Well, decent break, but he's left this red out again. I'd be disappointed because he missed it by a distance.
Yeah, he knows he's in a match for the first time this week. The game has really been taken to him. He's really been tested.
1.
And the other chap's enjoying it. That's the thing. Missed the yellow off its spot in the last frame, and that will have sapped his confidence a little bit.
Eight.
Should just say it's 3-3 on table 2 as well. Stephen Maguire and Noppen Sangkam, so that's finely poised as well. It's live on the Eurosport player.
Nine.
Has to try and leave
16.
an angle on the colour here. Looks like it's going to have to be the black to be able to open the reds up.
$17.
Well, chose to go into them there, and it's worked out okay. This is on the black. Brought another couple of reds out.
$24. $25.
And a good angle on the black to go into the reds. If you could miss the red directly above the black on the left, this should open nicely. And that's good. Caught the right red. Left
32.
himself.
Touch and ball.
Well, it's a little awkward with the spider, but just needs to drop it in. Referee keeping a close eye on this.
$33.
Well, this is the 5th black coming up. As if it hasn't been an eventful enough evening already.
$40. $41.
Already made his highest break this evening. 136. Previously had a 135, which he made in this year's China Open.
Yes, he was a wild card in that, but he still reached the last 16. Signs there of things to come.
Yes, and nicely on this red to get back to the black. Of course, the frame more important than the maximum. It comes down to it, where he has to make the decision.
49.
I'm sure he'd go for the frame.
$56.
A rare miss.
Luo Honghao, 56.
He's got away with it though. Just a slight movement on his wrist there as he went through the ball. Well, that's brought the safe red off the cushion, and he's got a good safety. Doesn't really want to play off the reds and open them up. Caught it too thin, pushed it over the pocket. Needs a bit of luck and he didn't get it. So although he's 56 points behind, if he can split the reds up. Now, does he have any kind of an angle? There may be a red that goes to the middle. Not much of an angle there. Yeah, the red goes to the middle, but he's overscrewed it.
8.
Wasn't a good positional shot, that. That's a good recovery.
9.
Nicely onto the black. That was a better shot than it looked. Well, that didn't go according to plan.
16.
This is tough. Wasn't sure, but it's dropped in.
17.
Well, he's giving every shot everything now, isn't he? He's having to.
He's still got the problem of those two reds by the pink.
24.
Sounded a little kicky, that one.
25.
And that's why maybe he's the wrong side of the blue.
$30. $31.
Well, if this red goes, it's happy days.
38.
And it does.
39.
Well, Luo Honghao was in on 56. He missed a red with the rest. And it's proved to be a significant moment in this frame.
46.
The one thing O'Sullivan has obviously over him is
47.
experience of winning big matches. This is the biggest match by far Luo Honghao's ever played. So you can forgive nerves. This was the red that he missed.
54.
O'Sullivan's still got to finish off here though.
And he's underhit that one slightly. This is one of those cutbacks. He'll be trying to come in and out of balk, I would suspect. Good pot. And looks good. Perfect.
62.
Needs the blue.
$64.
Didn't intend to hit the brown. Switch to left-handed. Oh, what a good shot, left-handed.
67.
A little stun round the two cushions. That was a tough shot for a natural left-handed player.
He needs brown and blue to retake the lead.
71.
Luo Honghao was nicely in, but missed that red with the rest. O'Sullivan has punished.
76.
He's been forced into playing well tonight, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he is now, once again.
82 in a frame.
He's
Ronnie
made
O'Sullivan.
82 to put himself a frame from a place in the semi-finals. A dramatic match here in Crawley this evening, and it's advantage O'Sullivan. He's leading Luo Honghao by 4 frames to 3. It's tomorrow.
Well, this long red to the left corner. If he's got the angle to get to the black, it's worth taking on. Could only leave the red he's playing on. Oh, what a great shot. And look how he played for the black. What a fantastic shot this was from Luo.
Well, with your back to the wall, 4-3 down to the best player ever. It's like, that was just practice session. Let's just knock in a long red and get going.
What a terrific 18-year-old he is.
Remember, there's still another match on the second table. It's 3-3 between Stephen Maguire and Noppen Senkam. That's live on the Eurosport Player.
Got a kick.
9.
But the red held its line. I wasn't sure.
Luo Honghao, 9.
Sometimes the drop when they hit that near angle.
One.
Well, he's got a nice angle on the brown or yellow to go into them. But maybe he'll be able to do it from the black. He'll be disappointed missing the pack. Just got a little bit too much left-hand side on the cue ball. A bit too close to the middle pocket.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Well,
5.
this time he has been called for a foul. He obviously caught the brown there with his sleeve.
He's played a good safety as well.
Tatiana Wollaston, the referee, was right on the case there. So he's going to be put back in. I think he must have just grazed it with his sleeve. Well, he seems to have just brushed it. But it's it's not that foul people will be talking about. There was an incident in frame 6 early on in the frame, when Ronnie O'Sullivan was in, and he was playing this shot with the rest. Just brings the cue back, catches that red. You can see he was looking there at the red going in the pocket. So his concentration was on that. The referee didn't see the foul, but it made a difference because he made 73 from that, and it got him going again in the match.
Yeah, there was a danger of knocking the black in there, but took the risk. And both players could ask for a re-rack because gradually these reds will go over towards the black. Well, he knew that he was sending the red towards the black. It is again. It's going towards it, but he would have been so unfortunate to have found a 3-ball plant onto the black. Well, the crowd appreciating the safety play from both players.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Well, unfortunate, but nothing left.
O'Sullivan's just retaken the lead on the safety success stats. And the pot success is now all square.
It's going to be close, this, behind the blue, if it's got the speed.
Well, I think that Ronnie's looking at Luo Honghao now and saying
Doing re-rack.
it's a stalemate. Do you want to re-rack?
3 shots each.
The referee-
See if it develops. Yeah.
He's also getting involved. I think
Okay
she's
with that?
suggesting 3 shots each, unless they both
See if
agree
it
to the
goes.
re-rack,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
have
re-rack,
done.
please.
So this frame is going to start again. Once that black goes over the corner and red start gathering round it, it's inevitable, really, that it's going nowhere. Steve Maguire, meanwhile, is just edged in front on the other table, so 4-3. He leads Noppen Senkam, and that's live, of course, on the Eurosport Player. And then, of course, tomorrow we're down to one table. The semi-finals, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan or Luo Honghao against Mark Davis, and it's Stuart Bingham against either Maguire or Senkam. Well, this is a big night for him, the biggest of his very young professional career. He's stood up really, really well, but he finds himself still in trouble. 4-3 down. But I tell you what, he's made a lot of friends here tonight among this crowd here in Crawley. They've loved watching him, and it's not over yet as we start frame 8 again.
He'll have made a lot of friends in China as well, where it's been shown. Certainly a player to look out for in the future.
Well, frame 8 has been re-racked, so for the second time Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off. He's leading 4-3. He needs one more to put himself in the semi-finals on Saturday.
Yeah, and interestingly, breaking off right-handed. Well, is it going to be a Luo special? Could only leave the red he was playing on, unless he'd have hit it just a touch harder, and the red above the black would have been on. It still is, but it's a thin cut to that right corner. Wasn't far away, knew he was leaving this red on. He's blocked the pocket for the black going into that left corner. Otherwise, Luo would have just been stroking this red in for the black. A little bit more difficult now. Good pot. Oh, and a great kiss on the red. That couldn't have gone any better for Lou.
Well, just a bit of noise in the crowd.
8.
Someone maybe has enjoyed the refreshments here at the K2 a little bit too much. Oh well, he put him off basically.
Honghao, 8.
It's just not on, is it? There's 2 matches going on, and some people are getting involved in the other match.
Yeah, the guy in the crowd thought it was really funny. Well, it's not so funny now, is it?
That's a good shot.
1.
Knew he could only leave the red that he was playing, but still a good shot. And it's O'Sullivan that gets a good chance now.
Well, we know he has the class to finish it in style. He's done it so many times.
Demi and Ronnie, please.
She's going to have a sit down while Tatiana Wilston sorts out the pink.
Well, it's a delicate operation, this. It goes in the middle of that cluster.
Yeah, it has to be in a line down the centre, so if it's not, then it now goes beneath the pat.
Thank you. 7.
Yeah, he's just looking to see if the pink will go into the right corner pocket at some stage. Obviously, he can't get there
8.
yet, but it would be a good ball to take to bust the pack open. Left himself a little straighter on this red than he wanted.
15. $16.
Trying to win frame and match, going into the pack of reds, and they've split nicely. Red
23.
went close to the middle.
$24.
Down to Ronnie O'Sullivan now. Doesn't like it because he wanted to play for the red just to the right of the pink, and he may be making contact with the pink playing that shot. Just had enough room. Is he too hard? I think he is.
31.
And that's end of break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Hiding
31.
that red down the balk end with the brown. Well, that hit the red and went in.
1.
But he'll take it.
Well, what a roller coaster evening this is turning into. This was a fluke. He raised his hand. So Sullivan's been in. He made 31. And a little smile, well, sheepish smile really from Luo Honghao there. He's got his chance here in frame 8. Well, nothing he could have done about that one.
Four.
No.
Luo
You just
Honghao,
felt that he
4.
was under a bit of pressure there, because when he played his first shot, the green, he didn't bounce far enough for this red. And it was a relatively simple green, and not to be on the red as he wanted. He was playing with a bit of disappointment.
That's a good red from O'Sullivan. Yes, a few inhibitions have crept in the longer the match has gone on. The higher the stakes have been raised. We saw it in the last frame he missed on 56 with the rest. It may be that experience does tell this evening, but Luo Honghao has shown us plenty this evening to suggest that he can only build from here. He's qualified already for the International Championship at the end of the month, so he'll be in Daqing. I don't think you want to play him right now, would you?
No, he's the man of the moment. And so far, he's still in.
Seven.
I think he's got a slight angle as Luo looks on.
Twelve. 13.
There is a red. The top of that bunch, that will go to the left corner. And that releases the other one to the right corner. Well, maybe not. But he's got the angle on this
18.
red to open those 3 reds up.
$19.
And made sure of being the right side by playing up for one of the baulk colours. This is looking ominous for Luo Honghao. He's fought so hard.
21.
He really has. The way he went from 2-0 down to 3-2 up, it was a complete transformation, and he was loving every
22.
minute. We saw the 1-3-6 in frame 5, which was just sensational. The foul that the referee failed to spot in frame 6 definitely made a difference. There's no two ways about it, because O'Sullivan went on to make 73.
28.
But since then, Luo Honghao has started to miss balls that he was knocking in earlier.
29.
We're going to see this one last time. This was, as I say, frame 6. That was a foul that the referee didn't spot. So this pink, and Luo Honghao needs Stookers. And Ronnie O'Sullivan will carry his title defence into the semi-finals tomorrow. But I know he'll be the first to
36.
recognise how well Luo Honghao has played, and indeed the potential that he clearly has.
Yeah, let's not forget Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's dug deep himself, and he's had to. He was put under a lot of pressure.
41. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 41.
Well, what a night it's been. A really entertaining match. Luo Honghao turned it on in style from 2-0 down to lead 3-2. You can see the warm words from Ronnie O'Sullivan. This man is Luo Honghao's hero, and he's getting those sporting words at the end. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan, then the winner. Experience has told in the end. He's through to the last 4 of the English Open. He's beaten Luo Honghao by 5 frames to 3.
Wow, fantastic match. Defending champion through to the last 4. Lots to talk to Ronnie about, and we'll have him on the couch in just a moment. A quick reminder, there